You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sim Racing Media. We are live here at the Michigan International Speedway, just a little bit southwest of Ann Arbor, Michigan. We're live here for the Western States Racing League. We've got 28 drivers ready to get race number 18 underway here just before we hit the Thanksgiving break. I'm Liam Irvig up in the booth, and of course we've got Chris Murphy up here on the ones and twos, bringing the show to you guys. Chris, how are you doing?
Excellent, Liam. Good to happy to be here with you once again. Week number 18 of this 20 race season for the Western States Racing League. It has been an exciting one all season long.
It really has been. We were at Gateway last week where we saw a new face, Ryan Patty, run strong, but I just had it. I'm blanking on the winner.
Chad Stearns.
Chad Stearns got it done, yes, for the fourth time this season. Yeah, his fourth win on the season, putting him keeping him in second place to Jacob Jensen's 6 wins on the season. The only 2 drivers who have won multiple races this season. Now we are at the 2-mile, relatively high-banked oval in Michigan, where these trucks are going to be hitting speeds of 190 miles an hour plus getting into the corners. And Chris, this is going to be not quite Daytona Talladega type, but this is going to be very reliant on the draft.
Oh, definitely. You're looking at a lot of draft here at Michigan. Who's going to be your friend? Who you're going to partner up with? That's key here at Michigan, and definitely try to stay out of trouble. But if you can find a partner, just tag along with them at 80 laps here tonight. It's gonna come down to who's your friend and who isn't.
80 laps here, of course, and then we've got the limit on fuel, which leaves us to roughly a two-stopper. We're looking at 25 to 28 laps on the pits. So we'll see these guys come in multiple times throughout the course of this race. We've got 4 sets of tires, 3 in the pits, plus what they start the race on. And this is kind of the interesting part of the season here, where we can start talking about these drop weeks. Some of these guys have already run 17 races, and 17 is what's counted for the championship. So
Yeah,
things are starting to...
Yeah, we'll start seeing some drop weeks come into play after this. As a matter of fact, why don't we bring up the point standings here real fast while we're waiting for qualifying to get over with. Top 10 in points right now. Jacob Jensen at the front, 672, but about 50 points clear of Brian Barnes. Bob Beltrami back there in third. Wayne Hutchison, Julian Ricci rounds out the top 5. Then we got John Kenyon, Chad Stearns, David Weaver, Dustin Burns, and Ryan Steele going to round out the top 10 right now with only a few races left to go here in the season.
Yeah, we've got Michigan here. We've got the Thanksgiving week off.
We
come back for 2 more. I believe we've got Atlanta and
Charlotte.
Let me double check here. Charlotte and Atlanta.
Charlotte in 2 weeks, and then come back with Atlanta to finish off the season. So right now we're looking at qualifying, still wrapping up. Bentley Glazier, first time we've seen him in a few weeks here, Liam. Comes out here strong on the pole with the points leader, Jacob Jensen, right now out there in second as we take a look here at Dustin Burns getting his laps in.
Dustin Burns in the last couple of minutes here in qualifying, trying to get himself a little bit more practice. He's already completed his 2 laps. He crosses the line here. So it's going to be kind of a moot point, but he's going to qualify with a 39.80. 40.22 that last time around. Chad Stearns coming out onto the racetrack, though. Last week's winner. He's won 4. He's trying to make it 5. We'll see what that 05 can do. With just under a minute left in qualifying, is he going to have enough time to complete a lap?
Yeah, Chad Stearns usually shows up late. I don't think he even got here for any practice, but here's going to try to get a lap here in qualifying. The 05 truck going to cross the stripe here, see if he can get a lap put in. He's got just a little bit of time left.
Oh, man, that's going to be close. Right around the 9:25 mark. It might allot him 10 extra seconds to finish his lap since he started it, but if they give him anything, it's not going to be much more than that.
About 18 seconds left to go right now as he heads down the back straightaway. It's going to be tight. It laps at 39 plus. He heads down into turn number 3. 9 seconds left to go here. Let's see if he even gets a lap put in.
He's at the mercy of the clock here. He's not going to hit the finish line before the clock strikes 10. Does he get there before the session ends? No! He does not. He gets to the Geico restart zone, but just a couple hundred yards short of getting a qualifying time in, and that's going to leave him in the 20th starting spot in what might be one of our largest grids to date this season, Chris.
27 trucks. We had about 7 trucks not even get a lap in qualifying, so we'll see who makes the grid. Tends to happen a lot. We get a bigger field like this. You see a few guys that just aren't able to make the grid, either technical difficulties or maybe they had to get up for dinner. I'm not quite sure. That's the beauty of iRacing. You're sitting there in the house, things happen sometimes. We got a minute and a half left to go. We have a new feature. We got a little studio feature we're going to bring up. So you get to see our mugs here tonight. So Liam Irving there, my buddy there on the left, myself on the right, of course. Happy to be here with you tonight. We are going to get qualifying wrapped up. We got about a minute left here to go in warm-ups. We've been working together on the West States Racing League for, what did we start about? Week number 5 of this season, I believe?
Somewhere around there. I think I missed the first 2 or 3, and might have been with somebody else for those first 2, but for most of the season, it's been us. And I got to say, this could not be a better pairing between the 2 of us, and I don't think we could have a better group to call other than this Western States Racing League. These guys are amazing week in and week out. I know we've talked about their caution-free shows. It's just awesome to be able to get together every Tuesday and talk about these guys driving cars.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. joined up with Sim Racing Media back in June, but was able to get in the West Racing League back in their fall, late in their spring. The nice thing with these guys is we're got about 2 more races left after tonight, but they'll be back again about sometime in the middle of January, so they don't take a whole lot of time off. 53 seasons for the Western States Racing League. They've been around since about 1999. Probably, what were you, about 1, maybe 2?
I was 2.
So they've been around for quite a while. So you were chasing Hot Wheels. They were out here sim racing.
Hey, we were all playing with cars in some way, shape, or form, and here
Exactly.
we are ready to play once again. The truck is the pace truck is about ready to roll off,
So
which leaves us to the grid.
warm-ups are over. So we're getting gridded up right now. You can see the trucks lined up here on pit road, moving out onto the racetrack. So we're gonna bring up our rolling grid here, starting grid, and on the pole is gonna be Bentley Glazier. Up on the outside, our point leader Jacob Jensen, back in row number 2. I slowed this down a little bit. Jeff Hollinsworth, a good showing for him in the 97. Back on the outside that second row is going to be number 48, Charles Woods. Going to go back to row number 3. One of our in-car cameras you're going to see tonight, the 74, Jeff Wills, and Bob Beltrami starting outside of him. Starting back in row number 4, Chris Walker and David Weaver in the 16 truck. David's had some good runs here late to see what he can do tonight at Michigan. Back in the 9th spot, it's going to be Brian Barnes, second in points right now, and Scott Kukas in the 242 with a great qualifying effort.
After that, we see Julian Ricci and Paul Crumray making up row number 6. Row number 7 has Wayne Hutchison and James Dewar, followed by Troy Campbell and Shane Jensen, the father of our most winningest driver this season. We've got Dustin Burns in the 04 with John Kenyon to his outside. We should be able to get you an angle of John Kenyon's in-car. Ron Holyfield and Chad Stearns making up the top 20. I'm going to just jump through these last few. Got Michael Milfeld Jr., Charlie Widener, Darrell Scott, William Fletcher, Keith Kelman, Barry Phil, James Campbell, and green flag is in the air. We are racing here in Michigan.
Bentley Glazier with a good jump, going to get lead down into turn number 1. Jensen with a...
And a good push.
Yeah, good push there from the 97 there of Hollinsworth. Hollinsworth's going to push Glazier to the front. Jacob kind of no help up there out there on the outside, and that number 64. He's going to drop back just a little bit. Watch him get a run down this back straightaway and see if he can get along Glazier going into 3.
Side by side here for second place. Hollingsworth in a little bit different paint scheme than we're used to seeing him in a black truck. Still got that Mission 22 all over it, but he's rocking Coast Guard. Orange and blue as the yellow truck on the outside still holds strong. Bob Beltrami trying to look down and make it 3 wide. There's Charles Woods in the 40 with a strong head of steam here coming down the front straightaway.
They head down into turn number 1 for lap number 2. I like these little digger cams down here. So we got a few different cameras to play with. So bear with me as I learn it, but Hollinsworth's going to slide up in front of Jensen off of 2. Take that second spot. Back there in 4th is Bob Beltrami up alongside of the 74, Jeff Wills.
Jeff Wills looks like he's also rocking a little bit different paint scheme than we're used to seeing him. That Meyer Chevy Silverado. He's got Beltrami working to his inside. It's the first side-by-side battle that we have going on right now, but you really want to try to get single file, get in the draft, because the side draft at a track like this is going to slow you down. And with straightaways that are this long, you cannot afford to have any momentum loss.
No, it's all momentum right here. You're pretty much flat out in these trucks until the tires start wearing out. You can see Bentley Glazier, good run there. Jacob Jensen now down to the inside of Hollinsworth for that second spot, but he's got no help. Hollinsworth's got the pull of the 87. But Glazier going to drop down in front of Jensen, pick him up, going to leave Hollinsworth stuck up on the outside, and Jensen's going to move up to second.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how it happened. This might be the story. Jacob Jensen went from the outside to the inside in turns 1 and 2, and now Hollingsworth trying to give him a little bit of a bump down the front straightaway to get him next to Glazier. Everybody backs off of the throttle just a little bit, though. Nobody seems willing to make a huge aggressive push this early in the race, and I can't say I blame them. They've got 80 laps, 160 miles. You don't want to ruffle these fenders up within the first couple of laps.
Yeah, you want to keep the car undamaged. Definitely, any damage to the sheet metal is going to be an aerodynamic disadvantage. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say, but you know what I meant. So we're looking.
It's hard to say. It's hard to drive with. I mean, you get a little bit of dinging on your fender, it can really slow you down with these long straightaways, Chris. That is a very great point.
We look at the 74 of Jeff Wills. We got a couple of in-car cameras we're going to bring you tonight as well. So we'll bring it up here real quick. We got Jeff Wills and John Kenyon. John Kenyon there on the top. Wills down there on the bottom. Nice enough to let us into their homes. Nice triple setups for both those guys there.
Yeah, we can't thank you guys enough for allowing us into your homes to check this stuff out. But yeah, amazing setups that these guys have, and you know, you can tell these guys really put a lot of time and effort and money into sim racing and being successful at sim racing, having fun with sim racing, going for the immersion factor, and it shows. I mean, these guys are out here. The Jeff Wills machine up here at the top 5, John Kenyon.
Wills with a good run down on the bottom. Oh, gets a little wiggle right there. He looked underneath Hollingsworth, but got a little bit loose coming off at 2. He's going to be able to tuck back up in front of Beltrami and settle back into 4th.
Three different lanes there. Hollingsworth slides up the track a little bit. That's going to allow the 74 to look down to the inside. Beltrami trying to figure out who he wants to help, and Wills has himself a run.
Take a look at the number 40 truck of Charles Woods with a good run. We haven't seen Charles run up front a lot this season, but good qualifying effort, and he's up here in the top 10 right now.
Yeah, you know, he started up in the top 5. He's currently sitting in 6th place. Not doing too shabby. Not, again, trying to wrinkle those fenders this early on. He's doing himself a good job of staying up in the top 10 and not overdoing anything. Now that we're starting to get to this lap 7, lap 8 mark, Chris, I know it's still really early in the race, but this is starting to trend a little bit green, and you got to wonder, are these guys saving their tires? Are they being considerate to the Goodyears underneath them? Or are they just going all out and scraping them up, greasing them up?
Well, I'm watching this 64 truck, and I've not seen Jacob really hold back on anything this year, so I don't think he's saving anything. He's pushing all he can. He wants to get to the front. Beltrami back there in the 4th spot right now has made his way around Willis. Willis actually dropped back a couple of spots in that number 74. He's now finds himself behind the 40 of Charles Woods.
Woods back up into the top 5. We talked about him starting up in 4th. Try to work his way back up. Ooh, Jensen got a little bit loose there coming through turn 4. It's going to cost him just a hair when it comes to Bentley Glazer, but that draft is going to help him out as you see Julian Ritchie working his way to the outside of that 74. Got himself a bit of a run. Love these in-ground cameras, like you said, Chris. These things are amazing.
Yeah, these digger cams are fun.
Oh, Jeff Wills got loose coming up off of 2. He got way low, but keeps it straight.
Take a look here. Willis down to the bottom of Ricci now, but it's back up to the front. It's still Bentley Glazer. He's led every single lap of this race so far. Jacob Jensen right there behind him. Hollingsworth and Beltrami rounding out our top 4, and Woods is now around, has made his way hanging on to that 5th spot. And Julian Ricci up 5 spots now, back behind him there in 6th, kind of leading out a little bit of a second group of Hollingsworth and Paul Cremeri.
Yeah, one thing you kind of notice is that this group has done a very good job of staying together, but you're starting to see that 87 machine get out a little bit further. He's got the clean air. He's got the cleanest air on the whole racetrack, which means he's got the most downforce to his front end. These guys behind him, they get in turbulent air. They don't get quite as much downforce. The tires have to work a little bit harder so that you can turn. They get hotter. They wear down. The clean air is really a benefit, but it becomes more of an advantage the later on into these runs that you get.
And Beltrami down alongside of Hollingsworth there for that 3rd spot. He's going to move up a spot. The old veteran there, Beltrami Salami in the number 14 is now up to 3rd. Started in 5th, moves up a couple of spots. Now 11 laps into this race, 11 of 80 coming your way, and it's still Glazer, Jensen, Beltrami, Hollingsworth, Charles Woods there, top 5.
And Bob Beltrami trying to move his way forward. This is the furthest up front we've seen him so far today. Beltrami rocking that low line. He's able to hold on to that yellow line a little bit better than Hollingsworth. We'll see if the 97 can pull to him with the draft. I don't know. It seems like Bob Beltrami in the middle part of this run seems to have something figured out. 11 laps now complete.
Yeah, Beltrami's got a good truck underneath him tonight. I think he's going to stay up front all night long, and he doesn't have any problems Bob's got I'm sure he's got thousands of laps around this Michigan Speedway over the last 53 seasons. Oh, Richie was in trouble.
Oh, Richie into the wall.
Richie got a
little bit loose. A little loose coming up off of turn number 2, and it looked like contact from the front end of Crumray as he was trying to save it, put him up into the wall. There's going to be significant right side damage to that, but he continues on.
Let's see if we can see what happened right there, if I can rewind to the right spot.
Yeah, you already see him getting a little bit. He might have tapped the wall.
I think he might have got.
He's up in that loose stuff.
Yeah, and then he gets really loose off of 2 right here. Gets up into the wall one more time, just chases it up here, comes down across the nose. Lucky Paul Crumay didn't run over catch that left rear quarter and turn around and make it even worse. But Richie just kind of keeps bouncing off the fence right there. Unfortunate. Had a good run going, but he's going to fall back in this field now. Now back to about 12th.
Yeah, that thing was sliding through turn 2, and it's not a good feeling, but he's able to continue on. If he gets a caution flag at some point in this race, he might be able to get that fender pulled out, take a look at the tire, and see if there's any steering damage to it. Although the driver will already know if there's some steering damage to it.
Yeah, and Bentley Glacier trying to put a little separation there on Jacob Jensen right now as they come off of turn number 2 on lap number 14. We've got about 56 laps left to go. My math is wrong. 66 laps left to go in this race. Trying to do it in my head. I have tools here to tell me that stuff. I should maybe use those.
Well, yeah, everybody's aware of the calculators on their phone. So if you got to do some simple subtraction, even if you can't do it in your head, old man, you can get it done on the phone.
I've even got apps right here in front of my face that tell me how many laps are left. So 66 left to go. As across the stripe one more time. 14 down is still Bentley Glacier. He's led them all. Started on the pole. Is led from the green flag. The 87 of Bentley Glacier kind of shows up here for the Western States Racing League, kind of off and on. But when he does, he's usually up towards the front.
Yeah, I believe he's a former champion here. Did we go through the list of winners? Is he number 1 on that?
We have not. I might have to just look that up here for the race over.
I thought we had. But either way, yeah, things starting to spread out now here. Coming to 15 laps complete. Bentley Glacier out to 0.4 of a second. It doesn't seem like a whole heck of a lot, but we were just seeing these guys all up each other's bumpers a few laps ago. And look at this
4 wide coming into 1
down the front straightaway. That's Chad Stearns all the way to the bottom. He's up 12 spots from where he started this race. But are they going to last? Crumray way up to the outside wall. Brian Barnes in the middle. Chad Stearns going to have to hold on for now as these two start to bump draft down the back straightaway to take those spots back.
Yeah, Crumay's going to give Barnes a little bit of a shove there on the outside. That's going to move them a little farther to the front. But Chad Stearns, like you said, started back in the 20th spot. Didn't get a qualifying time in. We saw that he just didn't quite make it to the stripe. But up 12 spots now, up to 8.
And he was painting that yellow line through turns 3 and 4. Phenomenal job by that, too. I haven't seen anybody run that low. So you know he's going to be getting a little bit cleaner air as he runs down there. Some more air to the front end, especially that left front to help him turn.
Yeah, you can see the different groups here at Michigan. Brian Barnes way up against the top. Almost a little incident there behind our view here with Ricci. And we got the 17 of Hutchison and Big Weaver back there. But you can see Chad Stearns way down on the bottom of the racetrack. Brian Barnes way up on top. So you can run just all over the place here at Michigan Speedway tonight.
I like Chad's move there. He stayed behind the 4 as long as he possibly could. Seemed like he was almost going to fake following him, and then he jumps down to the bottom, slams on the brakes to get it turned, runs that bottom lane, stays side by side here down the front straightaway, and has himself a good chance of getting cleared to turn 1.
Barnes trying to fight back up on the outside, but Stearns has got him clear. He's going to drift up down the back straightaway. And that is going to move Stearns now up 13 spots, up to 7.
As he's working through traffic, making passes like this is going to slow his lap times down. It'll be interesting to see what he does in clean air versus Bentley Glacier, your leader. Right now, the gap between them is just around 5 seconds.
Yeah, last lap out, the fastest truck on the racetrack was our leader, Bentley Glacier, at 41.172. Actually, no, it was Brian Barnes. No, it was Chad Stearns at 41.264. So he is the fastest truck on the track right now, and he is moving to the front in that 05. Take a look up here at the front again. Jensen still glued to the back bumper. Bentley Glazier 18 laps down.
I think it's going to be advantage Jensen, though, as they cross the start-finish line last time around. Jacob Jensen, well, maybe not so much. 0.2 of a second separate your top two. You're running within 100th of a second for lap times. Jensen just a hair loose coming up off of the corner. Might have scraped the wall. Probably not enough to hurt him or slow it down. But oh, one getting turned down the back straightaway. He's going to save it down on the inside. Phenomenal save. Trying to take a look at who that was. That was the 19. Ron Holofield.
Let's see if we can see what happened to him there. If my events will quit scrolling there, I can get on. There we go. And we see the 19 of Holyfield up on the outside of Ricci. This was coming off of turn 2. And I think they're going to meet in the middle here.
Yeah, Ricci just comes up, and that's significant contact. Amazing job not nosing it into the inside wall. Keeping that truck straight. Phenomenal job there by the 19 of Holyfield.
Yeah, Ricci coming up.
Back up front.
Yeah, Ricci coming up, Holyfield coming down. And they just kind of met on the same spot on the racetrack.
Last time around, the fastest truck on the racetrack was Chad Stearns. He had ran a 41.16, the leader with a 41.29. Just behind him, Jacob Jensen, a 41.32. As here comes the 05 to the inside of the 74. Both leaving plenty of space. Be 22 laps complete this time around, and I've got to assume that first round of pit stops is going to be happening within the next 5 or so laps.
Yeah, Stearns doing better job than anybody else on the racetrack at keeping that truck glued down to the bottom of the racetrack, and he has, you can see him down on the apron as they cross the start finish line right there. He's made it up alongside of that 74. Jeff Willis now up 14 spots for Chad Stearns. He is charging to the front, trying to pick up win number 5 on the season.
But look at Wills fighting hard on the outside. Little bit sideways there out of the 74, and Chad knows it. He's not pushing super hard. He's just trying to maintain this position, keep that 74 to his outside, because he knows he's quicker, and all it's going to take is one little slip up out of Jeff Wills, who's driving it deep through the center. Look at this drive on the outside.
Great run off of turn number 4. Wills not giving an inch right there. He's not letting Stearns by easily, but Stearns has got a great run down the front straightaway. He may clear Wills going into 1.
It's going to be tough. Wills is fighting hard, and Chad Stearns is doing everything he can to just leave as much space and hold it down on the bottom. It's going to go in Wills' favor coming up off of the corner here. Chad Stearns going to have to fall back in line, and with that, they've lost over half a second on the race leader, at least the 05 has.
Brian Barnes joining the party here as well. Back here in the 8th spot in the number 4 truck. Brian up 1 spot, started back in 9th, Carl's way back up for another big move in this race is Charlie Widener in the 95. We've seen Charlie have some good runs this season in that number 95 Appalachian State Mountaineers truck. Up 11 spots, started back in 22nd. Also did not get a lap in qualifying, but now up to 11th.
First pit stop of the day is Dustin Burns. He's going to pit in the 04 machine. Looks like he took an extended time on pit road, 22.78 seconds. We'll see who follows suit. Just a hair early, in my opinion, but definitely doable.
Well, I think at this point, if you stop in lap 25, you're going to have to make 2 stops into the race anyway. It looks like so. He's going to come in a little bit earlier than everybody else. I think we're going to see everybody coming in within the next couple of laps. But Glazier and Jensen so far have been the class of the field. They got an almost 2-second gap back to that 3rd place truck of Jeff Hollingsworth. And Hollingsworth kind of running around on the racetrack by himself as he's got about a second back to Charles Woods and that battle with Woods and Beltrami.
Yeah, Chris, I think you're absolutely right. These guys, they're going to be committed to this 2-stop strategy. If they were going to try a 3rd stop, they would have probably done it around lap 18 to 20-ish. Now these guys are fully committed to try to go to 27, then 54, and then 81 is what the next pit stop would be. Obviously, race end at 80. 27 is kind of this magic number. This is where I expect the window to truly open.
And Glazer still going to stay out there at least one more time. Jensen right there behind him. We head down the back straightaway. Lap 27, 26 down, 54 left to go. We look here at Beltrami. And actually, I'm looking at my timing and scoring here, Liam. And the crazy thing is, the top 6 are all where they started. Glazer, Jensen, Hollingsworth, Woods, Beltrami, and Wills are all in the exact same place they started. Nobody's moved up anywhere at this point. Or down.
Not yet, and everybody stays out one more lap. Brian Barnes going to be the first of your top 10 to jump into the pits. Here's Chad Stearns all over the back bumper of Wills.
Backs off, getting down into the corner. Gonna go down a little bit lower groove, but I think what you're gonna see, Wills on that outside line, it's gonna give him a little momentum off the 2 down the back straightaway. But Stearns able to suck up onto the back bumper of that 74.
Oh, it almost seemed like what he was trying to do there was send him in just a little bit quicker than he's comfortable going in there. Now what he's doing is going all the way to the bottom, trying to shorten this thing out. No, Chad Stearns is coming into the pits. Chad Stearns is coming into the pits. He's coming in hot.
He's got it locked up.
Oh, he's locking up. Should be safe.
That was a late dive from Chad Stearns, and also our leader, Bentley Glazer, getting into the pits. That's going to give the lead over to Jacob Jensen. Charles Woods, Bob Beltrami.
That's what I was just thinking as you brought it up. I wonder if he saw the leader come in, make that left turn, and decided, all right, my turn.
Brian Barnes made his pit stop. You see him blending into traffic right there behind Beltrami. He's going to look to the outside of Woods, Beltrami to the outside of Charles Woods for that second spot. We're going to see 1 or 2 of these guys both come in here pretty soon. And there goes Barnes around the outside. So we're going to see how this cycles in. We'll see if these drivers have pitted about a lap or so early. Oh, it's Woods.
Oh, no!
I don't know if that was a little bit of contact there from Beltrami as they got checked up in the pits. We've got everybody coming down in right now, 4 or 5 wide to the pit area.
I think he just got locked up trying to stay a good distance in front of Beltrami, but then get it down. Jacob Jensen overshoots his pit box.
Oh, he's got to back up.
Has to back up twice. That's going to cost him significant time on the racetrack.
That's going to cost him probably at least 5 or 6 seconds right there. We'll see what that does for Jensen. See where he bleeds back on the racetrack. Here comes Glazer across the stripe. Glazer going to move back. I mean, Glazer's coming off of pit road, and Jensen's just barely coming off of pit road right now as Glazer heads coming off of turn number 2 at this point. Wow, that was a big mistake from Jensen. We've not seen him do that all season long. He is going to find himself at about 6th position. He's behind the 07 there of Keith Kelman. Kelman's down a lap here. But Jensen,
Kelman was slower than Jacob Jensen wanted to go coming up off of the pit lane. He had to stay behind him so he didn't get the black flag. Now Kelman staying to his inside. That's not a fight Jensen wants to be in, especially when he was within 0.2 of a second of the race leader before Bentley Glazer came in. Now it's 8.5 seconds. Jeff Hollingsworth moves up into 2nd place. Brian Barnes is currently in 3rd. Chad Stearns up to 4th. And Bob Beltrami rounding out your top 5. Take a look on board with Michael Milfeld Jr., though. You can see that 64 truck, not a happy camper on the inside of that cockpit.
Now, Milfeld in the 155 has been strong. Every race we've seen him at, he's ran strong. Maybe he can get up there and give Jensen a little bit of help, get up there and give him a push back to the front. But unfortunate chain of events there for Jensen as he has fallen back. But he's got a pretty stout lead in the point standings right now. It may not hurt him too badly here if he can get up to the front a little bit further, but I think he's going to be hoping for a caution run. If this stays green all the way through this race, he is going to have a hard time getting back up into the top 3.
Yes, he is, but you've also got to kind of consider what his season has looked like. Jacob Jensen, 6 wins on the season. He's currently sitting in 6th place. He's roughly 8.5 seconds off of the leader.
Yeah, and Glazer with a big lead now, almost 3.5 seconds back to the 2nd place running. And Jeff Hollingsworth, he's got a gap back to Brian Barnes. But Barnes has got his hands full with Chad Stearns. Chad Stearns, once again, did not get a qualifying lap. Started 20th, now up 16 spots, up to 4th.
He's been methodical all race long. He hasn't put himself in any situations to, put himself in jeopardy. He's continued to make these passes, these kind of long, drawn-out chest moves that take a couple of laps, but he's staying safe on those tires, and the longevity is really showing.
Yeah, you can see
Right
that.
now, he sits 6.3 seconds behind your race leader. He lost a little bit of time on that pit stop cycle, but down some fast laps.
Yeah, Jensen's actually worked his way up onto the back of the 14 of Bob Beltrami. Going to see if he can get up into the top 5 right here, make up for that mistake. He's got a good run on the back of the 14. Can he make a move on Bob going down into 1? I think you're going to see him look to the bottom. Jensen down to the bottom now into turn number 1. Beltrami about up higher, up against the wall. Jensen going to get down to the bottom. He is going to clear Beltrami easily heading down into the corner, and that's going to put him back up to 5th. Now he's got to trace down the 05 of Chad Stearns, and we have seen this all season, Liam. Stearns and Jensen going at it back and forth.
Now the 2 winningest drivers on the season, Jacob Jensen with 6, Chad Stearns with 4. It's going to be a fantastic race setting up here with these 2 top 5 drivers closing in on each other. Jacob Jensen is absolutely on fire right now, running a half a second quicker than anybody else in front of him. I don't think it's going to take long for him to catch these 2. I don't think it's going to take all race for him to catch the leader. I think he's still got a shot at this. Now Brian Barnes is within just a couple of car lengths. How long does it take him to make this move?
I may have written Jacob off a little sooner than I should have right there, as he makes his way around Barnes easily. Now sets his sights on that back tailgate of the 05 of Chad Stearns. Then look to the bottom, coming off of 4 down the front straightaway. Man, he's got a lot of pace in that 64 right now. He is going to make easy work of Chad Stearns heading down into the turn number 1.
He definitely does have a lot of pace. Is he using up too much of it too early? 64. With 8 laps to go, and he's been putting down blazing fast lap times, but does he struggle towards the end of this run as John Kenyon gets a little bit loose coming up off of turn 2? Gonna keep it straight there, but Jacob Jensen continuing his march back to the front. What are the odds Chad Stearns just kind of follows?
Well, he's got pretty much no other option at this point. Jensen's in front of him. Is he going to stay behind him? We've not seen either one of these drivers be really all that patient. If they've got a chance to get by each other, they're going to do it. But I think he has...
Well, I guess what I'm saying is I feel like we've seen Chad Stearns show a lot of patience here today, and so does Jacob Jensen getting in front of him cause him to push harder to stay with him?
Well, so far he's been able to do that. Jensen's pulling him along right now as soon as he cleared the 05. Stearns going to hang with him right now, and Bob Beltrami right there with him as well. So they've all cleared the 4. Brian Barnes kind of left him behind a little bit, and they've got their sights set on that second place truck of Jeff Hollinsworth.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys that we have in our screen were within 1/100th of a second this lap. That's 0.3 quicker, or a quarter second rather, quicker than your race leader.
Take a look up here at Bentley Glazer in the 87. Led just about every single lap except during the pit stop cycles. But he's putting on a good pace. He's got a 4.5 second lead right now to Hollinsworth. Jensen and Stearns are going to have to work together if they're going to have any chance to run Glazer down at this point, but still they've got to catch up to that 97.
We're within 2 seconds of that 97 machine and still closing in. So it seems like Jeff Hollingsworth is starting to fall off the pace compared to Bentley Glazer just a little bit. 2/10 separated them that last time. 2/10 the lap before. Jacob Jensen a couple of hundredths quicker, but
Look back through the field here. Look, you see the 17 of Wayne Hutchison, and look to the inside of the number 96 of Paul Cremeri. And they got the 74 Jeff Wills right up front. Jeff Wills running pretty strong earlier, but kind of falling back there just a little bit. We'll look off the field. We got a little battle going back here with Daryl Scott in the 62. He's behind Julian Ricci. Ricci was running up towards the front as well, but had a little bit of trouble early. He's now falling back to about 15th spot now.
yeah, Ricci got up into the wall down the back straightaway. A little bit of contact there. Able to continue on, but like you mentioned, he's in 15th place. Kind of hoping for a yellow to get an actual look at that truck.
Yeah, pull our cameras back up here again. John, take a look at John Kenya trying to get around Charlie Widener. Charlie looked like he was going to move up a little bit earlier in the race, but now falling back a little bit. Kenya not having as strong of a run as he has hoped. Back there in 19th, started in 18th, falling back a spot. And again, we've got his webcam up on the screen for you here real quick. You can see him on the top on the right. Jeff Wills down there behind him in the 74. I'm going to have to get me some of this. I like those button boxes and stuff you see on Jeff's screen. I know you can't see it right now, but Liam, but it's a pretty cool little setup.
I see it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I've got myself a little button box. It's not quite as fancy as theirs are. But I tell you what, being able to map extra buttons, especially when you're doing road racing.
Oh, look, here's right behind him.
Something else like that. It is, yeah, there he is, the race leader. But it is incredible. Especially now that iRacing has thrown in rain, having a windshield wiper selection, game changer. When you're in Indy cars, having a weight jacker selection, that's great. Having a knob to do your brake bias instead of just tapping on a button. There's a lot of good places out there, and I tell you what, if you guys sell button boxes, you can hear how enthusiastic we are about them.
Oh yeah,
Let us help you sell them.
I bought some parts to make my own, but I've been too lazy to put it together. So anybody out there from Admin Box or any of those other places, reach out. We'll be more than happy to push your product for you.
Absolutely, we will help you sell them. We know how great they are. That goes for really anything anybody's got going on in the sim racing business. Just be business people for a moment and say, we've got a platform.
Look at Chad Sterenser real quick. So, yeah, as a matter of fact, to sell things, we're about halfway right now, so we're going to take just a quick moment. Bentley Glazier, we're kind of things have settled down here a little quick. Glazier with about almost a 6-second lead now. So he's going to put a lap here on John Canyon. My name is Chris Murphy here with Liam Ervig. Sim Racing Media bringing you all the coverage here of the Western States Racing League Season 53, Week 18. We're going to jump away real quick just to take a quick commercial. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. We'll keep a split screen up so you can see if we don't miss any of the action.
Back live here at the Michigan International Speedway, you see Chad Stearns get around the outside of Jeff Hollingsworth. Jacob Jensen also got around that 97 truck to take away second place, and here's how it happened.
So Jensen going to find his way around Hollingsworth down the back straightaway here. They're going to head down into the 3, that 64, trying to charge back in the front after that mistimed in the pits of actually missing his pit stall and having to back up. So Jensen going to look to the inside here of Hollingsworth.
Oh, yeah, he dove it in there. That's a classic move. Send it all the way down to the bottom.
Like a sprint car slide job.
Smack on the brakes and hope it sticks. He's already sliding up the racetrack. That rear end is sliding up too.
Yeah, he's chasing it up the racetrack right here. Gets a little bit loose. You can see the back of the truck start to wiggle. He's chasing the truck up the racetrack. A little bit of contact here with the 97.
Oh, wow.
That was a park it on the nose sprint car slide job like you'd see at Eldora right there. Wow. Hollingsworth did a good job of not running over the back of the 64. So Jensen now back up to second, had fallen back. You know what? I got to apologize a little bit to Jacob. I kind of wrote him off at that point. Did not think he was going to be able to charge back through this field the way he did. He'd fallen back to about 6th or 7th. Now back up to 2nd. Great run here from Jacob.
Well, he's still got a ways to go. We've got about 5 laps before the next pit stop at least. But here's Bentley Glazer, your race leader, running side by side with the 95 of Charlie Widener. That's not going to do him any favors, especially if Widener doesn't want to give this spot up. Widener's on the lead lap. He doesn't want to go a lap down. If the caution comes out, if he goes a lap down, he's going to, he'll get the free pass in this spot. He's going to have to start all the way at the back of the field. Doesn't want to have that happen. He's going to have to relinquish. However, that caused Bentley Glazer to lose almost 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, almost a little bit of contact right there. Bentley kind of chased the truck up the racetrack right there. Widener kind of had to back off, settle in behind him. He knows he's a lap down. There's no reason to fight with him. Now Bentley about 5.5 seconds back to Jensen. Widener kind of all over the back of the 87 here right now. Maybe trying to give him a little bit of a push, even though he's a lap down. John Kenyon right there behind him. Scott Kukas as well. We got 16 trucks left on the lead lap. The last truck on the lead lap right now is the 16th running number 62 of Daryl Scott. We take a look here at Bentley Glazer. Jacob Jensen now 5.5 seconds back, not making up any ground in the last half a lap or so. But we're going to keep an eye on this. And Chad Stearns, our big mover of the race, up 17 spots now. Matter of fact, let's take a look. Let's use some of our toys. We haven't talked about our toys tonight, Liam. Our good buddy Shane Cochran.
We've got a lot of fun toys.
Yeah.
We've got
we got our biggest movers of the race here.
Movers of the day.
Chad Stearns up 17 spots. Michael Milfett now up 14. Daryl Scott up 7 spots. James Campbell as well up 7. There's Charlie Widener. We talked about him now up 5 spots. Take a look at our lap leaders here. Only 2. Bentley Glazer's led 51 laps out of the 53. Jacob Jensen led 2. And that is it right now. So not a lot of lead changes going on here tonight. We're going to take a look at the fastest 5 best laps. And it is Jacob Jensen. As no surprise right there. He's got the fastest lap of the race at a 13:32. But Bob Beltrami right there behind him. And James Dorr, I don't think I've said James's name all day long. Up there with the fastest lap, Jeff Willis, and our leader, Bentley Glazer, our top 5. So if you...
An interesting one to bring up would be the fastest last 5 laps, or the fastest 5 drivers the last lap. So I
fastest
think
5
Jensen's
for the last 5.
Little bit...
That's the last lap.
Chad Stearns.
Chad Stearns with the fastest lap, and you can see just using a little bit of that draft right there, getting him pulled up there behind the 64 of Jensen. I think that's exactly what got him that fastest lap right there. But Hollingsworth, Beltrami, Glazer, and Woods, the fastest 5 in that last time around. So, hey, if you're another broadcaster or just a fan of SDK software, you know what? I really like this. I really love this SDK software. They've been really good to us. They don't really sponsor us or anything like that, but they have helped me out a lot. They've been good supporters, and their customer service is great. But any of these graphics that you're seeing us use, these are all put together for our buddy Shane Cochran, and he has worked his butt off on all these special graphics you're seeing. This is if you're a typical SDK user, you know that a lot of these aren't the standalone or the stamped, I don't know what you want to call it, but the standard graphics you're going to see with this software. So we appreciate Shane doing all this work. And if you're looking for some stuff, reach out to us and we'll put you in contact with them if you would like to see some of these plugins and graphics for your stuff.
Things starting to heat up here with second place. Chad Stearns doesn't seem comfortable with making the move on Jacob Jensen right now. These guys approaching the pit cycle. James Stewart comes in. Dustin Burns has already come in. Wayne Hutchison has been in and out. Final pit stops coming soon here at Michigan. Who is the first to come last?
So I've not run enough laps around this racetrack to talk about tire wear, but do you think we see either one of these guys going for 2? I mean, they're about 6. They're actually losing ground to our leader, Bentley Glazer. Now it is now a 6-second gap back to our second place running Jacob Jensen. Is it possible maybe either Jensen or Stearns could try to take just right sides only?
No.
No, too much tire wear?
Yeah, there's too much tire wear. These guys have fallen off over 2 seconds from where they started these runs. I just can't see 2 tires working out here. But what I'm noticing is Chad Stearns in the 05 cannot find a way around Jacob Jensen, and I firmly believe that 64 truck is holding him up. If he were able to get around that 64, I think he would be able to drive away and close in on the now pitting race leader, Bentley Glazer. But now this becomes the fight for the lead.
And Bentley down into the pits makes a good... You see, no mistake getting down in the pits. Bentley Glazer's been around for a long time racing these trucks. Probably since iRacing's been around. He's going to get into his stall cleanly. But here's our leader right now going down the back straightaway. It is Jacob Jensen, Chad Stearns, and Bob Beltrami. I would not be surprised at all to see these guys dive into the pits this next time around.
Jacob Jensen's coming in this time. Chad Stearns, you got to believe he is
come with
too.
him.
He's going to get all the way down to the bottom. See if he can close in on that 64 in front of him. He's going to try. Jacob Jensen and everybody getting a little bit squirrely on entry, but looks like everybody's able to get it down. Holcomb Ray, see if he comes in this time around. He's going to come in. Charles Woods as well as... That was the 23, the lap down truck of Chris Walker. Bentley Glazer should jump back into the race lead.
I mean, not only did he have a 6-second advantage, he came in, but he's got in a lap early, kind of undercut. It would be an undercut, but he got in a lap earlier than everybody else. So he's going to get a good outlap right here. I think you're going to see Glazer with about a 7.5-second lead, if not more, by the time we see Stearns and Jensen. And Stearns actually going to beat Jensen out of the pits. Jensen, again, with a little bit of trouble, is going to lose a spot on pit road to the 05, and you can see he's back there quite a ways, back to him and the Bob Beltrami, and you can see this gap from Glazer now. It is 7.5. It is 8 seconds. It just keeps growing. This is Glazer's race to win if he doesn't make any mistakes. You know, I haven't looked over at the YouTube chat all night, but we've got Luke in there telling us that NASCAR 2003 is the best NASCAR simulator. Well, I would have to agree.
Buddy, let me tell you what these NR 2003 guys did after that. They came together and created a nice little product called iRacing.
Exactly.
That's what we're witnessing this incredible action on right now as Jeff Hollingsworth has actually jumped into second place with his undercut.
And
Scott Kukas gets up into the outside wall.
Chad Stearns is going to make his way up on the back of Hollingsworth. It's going to get dicey right here for this second and third spot. You see Hollingsworth right there in second. Stearns right behind him. Jacob Jensen trying to get around the lap truck of Scott Kukas. And you can see Beltrami back there trying to get around John Kenyon in that 88 Granger truck. We'll jump back up here to Chad Stearns. He is tucked up underneath the back bumper of Hollingsworth on the 97. Gonna take a look. No, he's going to stay right there. I thought he was going to take a look to the inside right there. But he is happy to stay there in third.
I just can't get down at this strategy by Chad. He seems to be wanting to push that guy up to the race leader.
Oh, he's going this time. He's got to. No, he's actually going to.
No, he's not. He keeps wanting to push this guy up front, and I just feel like that's hurting him. He's got so much more momentum. He's faster than the truck in front of him.
Well,
he's trying to push him up, and it's just costing them both time.
I think maybe what he's doing, he sees Jacob Jensen back there in his mirror. Maybe if he thinks if he can push Hollingsworth a little bit forward, they get a little gap back to Jensen and just kind of fight out for that second spot on their own, because right now It is 9.5 seconds up to the leader from this point, Bentley Glazier. And here comes Jensen with a charge. Wow, what a dive by Jensen. He was about 8 truck lengths back right there, going into the corner, going into one. And he is going to be up alongside here for that second spot, Hollingsworth and Stearns now. And he's going to get a 2 for heading down into turn number 3. He gets by Stearns and looking to get by the 97 of Hollingsworth now for second.
I tell you what, there is a very famous phrase, and I'm going to do my best to clean it up for you guys, but it goes, do your business or get off the pot. And that's exactly what Jacob Jensen just said to these guys. He said, hey, if you're not going to make this pass, I'm going to pass you both. And now Chad Stearns is fighting hard with Jacob Jensen.
Yeah, Jensen kind of pushed up the racetrack right there, gave that bottom to Stearns, and nobody's been better on the bottom of the racetrack all day long than Chad Stearns has. And in that 05, he's going to try to get back by Jensen now for second. They've got the lap truck at 95. Let's see if Stearns can use that 95 as a pick and get back by Jensen for second. You can see Widener up, pushing up the racetrack. That Jensen kind of stuck behind him. Watch Jensen make an aggressive move to get by the 95 heading down to turn number 1.
He's going to have himself a nice run. He's going to cut down to the inside, and having that 41 just up in front of him, that's also going to force the hand to send Jensen down to the bottom. Chad Stearns, like you mentioned, one of the best guys we've seen on the bottom of the racetrack all night. Jacob Jensen, ooh, a little bit loose there coming up off of 2, just as I was getting ready to say. He's been able to put it down there when it's necessary. Yeah,
Stearns got himself in a bad position. Actually, at 41, I've not said his name all day long either. That's Troy Campbell back in the 26th position. A lap down, he moves up out of the way, lets Stearns back down to the bottom. That 41 struggling to get off the corner right there, but Stearns is going to be able to get alongside. I mean, this is pretty much the race right now. We've got 16 laps left to go. Bentley Glazier 9 seconds out to the good. There is no chance these guys are going to run him down unless Glazier has a problem. Not at this point. I am pretty confident of that. Stearns gonna pack, kind of get up there between the 2 lap trucks of Campbell and Widener, trying to do everything he can to get it back up there to Jensen, but Jensen's looking to just kind of drive away from that at this point.
Jensen has been a little bit quicker than the race leader these last couple times around. But at this stage in the game, it's just not going to be enough.
Take a look back here, a little bit back to the pack. We've got Jeff Wills back here in the 74, kind of falling off. He was running the top 5 early on, but now back here in 9th. He's got the 17 of Wayne Hutchison right there in front of him. And Hutchison's up 5 spots, started in 13th, up to 8th right now. But he has got his hands full with that 74 of Jeff Wills. Wills going to look down to the bottom, coming off a 2.
Side by side this year is going to be for 8th place. Will is going to be able to get back around the 17 of Wayne Hutchison. I haven't talked a lot about Wayne tonight. Started outside of the top 10. He's been able to work his way forward, but still not exactly where he wants to be throughout the course of this race. Michael Milfeld Jr., former race winner this season, currently sitting just outside the top 5, trying to chase down Jeff Hollingsworth. He's got himself a little gap.
Yeah, Michael Milford up 15 spots. One of those drivers that did not get a lap in qualifying. He has moved up to the 6th position, but he's got about 3.5 seconds. You can see way up the racetrack is at 97 of Hollingsworth. Right now, we've got 13 laps left to go. Our leader is still Bentley Glazier. Almost a 9-second gap back to Jacob Jensen. Chad Stearns 3rd. Bob Beltrami, Jeff Hollingsworth going to round out the top 5 right now. We got a good little race going on right here. Stearns now worked his way back up to the back of Jensen for second. You can see Bob Beltrami back there as well between the 2 lap trucks trying to make his way, make it a 3-car battle for second. But Stearns looks like he's got a little bit of pace. Did Jensen use up his tires a little bit too soon after that second stop?
Stearns has pace and he has patience. Jacob Jensen slides up the racetrack. Here comes the 41 down to the inside. Not for position, of course, but he wants to make his name known.
Yeah, 41 of Troy Campbell. It's been about the same time. Only got about maybe 1 lap newer tires, but showing pretty good pace there for being back in the 26th spot, a lap down. You see Bob Beltrami back there as well in that fifth spot, or excuse me, in the fourth spot. Got it kind of mired in the middle of this lap traffic right now. The 41 he's basically a couple laps down at this point, but he's really kind of got himself in the middle of this battle here for the top three. As Chad Stearns now pushing Jacob Jensen down into turn number 1. This battle for second's going to heat up.
Troy's gonna back out of there. Charlie Widener there with Bob Beltrami. That's not poor position, but Bob trying to chase down these two in front of him, maybe steal a second place, as the lead is 8.6 seconds in front of these guys. And tell you what, Bentley Glazer just took 10 to go.
Take a look back here from Jensen. You can see Stearns all over the back. I'm just filling up that rear view mirror. I have not seen that rattle. You know, Jensen's probably the youngest driver in the field here for the Western States Racing League, but we have not seen this kind of stuff rattle his cage at all, as he's got good pace here, holding on to that second spot, but Chad Stearns doing everything he can to find a way around.
Yeah, these kids don't know what can hurt them. And that can go good, that can go bad for them. But right now, Jacob Jensen doesn't care. He's looking forward. He's got the 05 all over his back bumper, but he's not worried about what's behind him. He's looking forward. These guys are chasing down the race leader, and while there's only 8 or 9 laps to go, Jacob Jensen would rather look at that gap shrink than anything behind him.
Yeah, 11 wins between these two drivers. We're on our 17 races we ran this season between Jacob Jensen and Chad Stearns. They've won 11 of them, but it's not going to happen for them tonight unless Benton Glazer makes a mistake. This is a battle for second. So right now, Jacob Jensen is just points racing. He's got one bad finish early in the season he could drop. So this second place finish is really going to add to his point lead if he can hang on to it. But Stearns is not in the business of letting Jacob Jensen have anything at this point.
Jensen's going to slide up the racetrack. Watch for Stearns to try to cut below. A lot of lap traffic in front, one of them being Shane Jensen. How does that work in the favor of the 64 versus the 05? We've got 8 laps to go, but there's a lot of questions yet to be answered. We've still got that McCody setup shop of Julian Ritchie, that McCody setup shop truck there of Julian Ritchie, just in front of these guys. Shane Jensen gets out of the way. Julian Ritchie racing alongside what looks to be the 07 of Keith Kelman. A lot of action all over this racetrack.
And so side by side here from Ricci and Kelman right in front of our second and third place running truck. Let's see what they do here. Shane Jensen just kind of moved down out of the way. Father and son team right there. Shane was not going to get up there and fight with Jacob. He just moved down out of the fight. But Kelman and Ricci they might not have that luxury here. Kelman's going to move down. Actually, Kelman's just going to move out of the way right there. That was for position with Ricci, or was it not? Though Kelman was back a little bit lap further, so Kelman just getting out of the way, letting the leaders go by here at this point.
For position, Ricci's going to try to do the same thing up top here. Jensen gets a little bit loose, falls in behind him. Now Ricci gets out of the way. 7 laps to go, coming to 6 laps to go, and these guys are chasing down your race leader just a little bit, but it is, of course, not going to be enough to catch him without a caution or a mistake.
Now they have made up
Jensen
about a second.
riding up the racetrack, and that's going to allow the 05 to get himself a nice run.
Gonna head down into turn number 1 right now. Let's see if Stearns goes down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Nope.
Not gonna do it. He's kind of satisfied to just kind of ride right there behind him. They come off of 2 down the back straight one more time. We've got 6 laps left to go. This is our fight right here. This is our battle. The best battle we have on the racetrack is Jensen and Stearns, which doesn't surprise me. I don't know how many times we've said this all year long.
Man, I tell you what, I've seen so many opportunities for that 05 to get around the 64, and I'm not sure if he's thinking, you know, I don't want him to be able to get me back by the end of this thing, so he wants to wait as long as he can to make the move. But he is quicker. He is setting himself up for corners better. He is just all around at this stage in the game the better truck. Yeah, Chad Stearns over Jacob Jensen. Yeah,
Jensen with a little side drop off the lap truck of Darrell Scott right there. But Stearns able to close back up on the back of him. Let's see if we can find something else in the field. We've got Hollingsworth and David Weaver. Weaver and Hollingsworth still on the lead lap run. Hollifield, sorry. Thank you for that. I was confusing him with Hollingsworth. So we got Hollowworth and Hollifield. I was mixing them together. So David Weaver and Rod Holleyfield doing a good job. Still in the lead lap back in 12th and 13th right now. last.
Let's stay focused on our second and fourth place battles here. Second place heating up, and fourth place also heating up. Hollingsworth able to get back around Bob Beltrami, and we've still got 4 laps to go for our race leader, who's still got an 8.2 second gap. Chad Stearns all over the back bumper of Jacob Jensen. Bentley Glazer out front. He's led all but, I believe, 5 laps throughout the course of this race so far. Coming to 3 laps to go. He's trying to get every single moment.
There's our lap leader, 74 laps for Bentley Glazer, 4 for Jacob Jensen. 3 laps left to go as they come across the stripe. We're going to get Glazer on the camera just a little bit. 8 seconds out in front. They did take a second out of that lead, but it's not going to be enough. 3 laps left to go. Glazer's just been the class of the field. Here comes Stearns now. He's got to run into 3. What's he going to do? Is he going to take a look to the inside? He is. He's going to look to the inside of Jensen. Heading down into 3. He has got the pace. Can he slide up in front? No, he has to lift. Jensen does a good job of moving down the racetrack, kind of pinching the 05 down a little bit, making him lift a little bit further. If Jensen would have been up a little bit higher, that would have let Stearns open up that wheel and not have to lift near as much. Nice defensive move there from Jacob Jensen.
For Chad Stearns, 2 laps to go, trying to take away second. And that's kind of why I was saying he should make that pass sooner rather than later, because the more grip you have, the more... Ooh, this is going to be a nice run here coming up off of turn 2. Jacob Jensen gets into the wall. Here comes Chad Stearns down to the inside. He's going to move down extra space. Doesn't need the side draft. He's just going to try to get away on entry. Gets clear getting into 3. Slides up in front of Jacob Jensen. Takes away the second spot. And the white flag is in the air, taken by Bentley Glazer. Battle for second still on fire. Jacob Jensen moves down to the inside. He's got a nose to the fender. Bentley Glazer 8 seconds in front, has nothing to worry about with this battle for second. Jacob Jensen drives into turn number 1. He's got himself a nose out in front. He's going to try to get clear through the center of the corner, slide up the racetrack. He's going to get loose. Stearns gets loose coming up off of turn number 2. Stearns with the run. He's going to look low. He's going to look high. He's going to look low once again, getting into turn number 3. Big time run here for Chad Stearns. He's going to lift. But Bentley Glazer is going to take home the checkers and win in Michigan. Jacob Jensen with the run up off of 4 to hold on to P2. Chad Stearns in P3. What a phenomenal drive here at the end of Michigan.
Yeah, Jacob Jensen wanted to get down and defend the block off Stearns into 3, but wasn't able to, but still able to hold him off. Great battle, clean battle there as well as they hit it. As they got into 3, Stearns had a head of steam. He looked to make a run to the inside, but Jensen held up on top. He knew he was points racing. He didn't want to take a chance. We've seen this happen once in the season before between these two. Jensen going to come home in second. Bentley Glazer going to take the win. I believe that's his first win of the season. I'd have to look that up. I should have these stats like right there with me, but Bentley Glazer going to come home with a victory here. I'm sure it is adding to his total of many victories here with Western States Racing League, and he says, I'm out of here. He's just gone. No burnouts for Bentley Glazer.
That's actually Bentley's second win on the season. He got one earlier.
Thank you for looking that up.
Phenomenal drive out of him, and yeah, we hate to give him that Jacob Jensen Dover treatment, or maybe it was Iowa, but he was just so dominant towards the end of this race. It wasn't really a question of if, it was a question of when was this thing going to be over. For the first time since week 13 in Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Bentley Glazer is a race winner. He becomes the 3rd repeat winner on the season. Let's go ahead and see if we can get with any of our top 3 at the moment.
Looks like we got Bentley there in the waiting room. Let's see if we can bring him in here with us.
All right, we got Bentley Glazer up in the booth with us. It's Liam and Chris. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, second time we've talked to you this season, but I know we've talked to you plenty in the past, man. Sorry, I mean, what was your biggest challenge today? Because I'm trying to think of one, and you just didn't have any.
Just worrying about a caution, because I don't know if I could have held him off on the short run, especially with the draft. You have to make some big blocks.
Well, you talk about not being able to hold him off on the short run, but from the initial start of the race, you got out front, you stayed out front until that first pit stop, and the only laps that you didn't lead ended up being those green flag pit cycles. What goes into the preparation for making this car this good at a track like Michigan?
Practice, lots of practice, and practicing your pit stops a lot of times is the biggest key.
We saw you virtually flawless on pit road, on the racetrack. Who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done week in and week out for your second win on the season?
All my teammates at OGR. That's it.
Well, awesome stuff, man. Congratulations on the race win. You continue to impress us on the racetrack. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you again soon.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, let's get our second place running. Jacob Jensen. Hey, Jacob, you got Chris and Liam here in the booth, buddy. Are you there with us?
Howdy, I got you.
Hey, another fantastic run that you had a really good truck until you made that had a little error there in the pits. Looked like you overshot your pit stall.
Yeah, I overshot it by about a county, so it happens, and I was definitely able to make some sort of a comeback to get back up to second. Because when I came back out, I was behind Brian Barnes, behind Bob, behind Jeff, behind Chad, and Michael Melfitt was giving me pressure. So definitely a kind of a comeback, but should have been a lot better night. I think I could have hung with Bentley if we didn't have that problem, but great win to him, and it was a really fun race.
Yeah, late there in the race, it was you and Chad Stearns once again. We've seen that all season long, going back and forth for that second spot for about the last 8 or 9 laps. You know, a couple times this season, we've seen you guys kind of make some contact here and there. Were you looking in the mirror? You saw that '05 back there. Were you worried at all?
No, I wasn't really worried. I mean, we've had a few problems, but me and Chad, for the most part, we've raced really clean with each other. I always have a lot of fun racing him, and I think he has fun racing me. So I wasn't too concerned. It was a lot of fun. The way the tires kind of wore out made it so that you'd have to be very careful at the start of the run to save something, and then you could try to push with all you had left. But it got very, very loose a lot of times, so it was very fun.
Yeah, you did a great job of defending there to Chad Stearns the last few laps. You know, I've been in those positions myself where just one little thing you think you got a car or a truck capable of making winning the race, but just one little thing sets you back there a little bit. You kind of came out of the pits at that point. Looked like you had a big head of steam. Were you maybe a little bit going a little bit extra hard there after you had that mistake?
Well, I was definitely going a little harder than I was with Bentley. The idea at the start of the race was kind of just hang with him and see if we could kind of make a pass later on in the race because of how the tires were wearing out and all that sort of stuff. But as soon as I got behind, I was like, well, let's see if we can make it up. And then coming out of the pits, I gained 2 seconds on Bentley. I think that was because he was in lap traffic. But I was like, well, might as well see if we can try to pull something up to him. And it didn't work. But I was trying a little bit harder, just trying to get back through the field.
Well, that second place run here tonight, your points contenders had to kind of fallen back just a little bit. Brian Barnes finished back there in seventh. That should have given you a little more pad in the point standings here. 2 races left to go. We come back in a couple weeks at Charlotte, I believe it is. How do you feel about your chances there?
Charlotte's a very interesting racetrack. I haven't raced since they did the art update, and I don't know if they did any scan update with it. So we'll see if it's a little different or not. Generally, that's a really fun track to just hook your tires around the blue and white line and just rip it. But we'll see what happens. Sometimes it can move up a bit. Um, and then kind of thinking about points, um, it'll be very interesting to see how the drop weeks affect anything. Um, if we have kind of small field sizes, it should be pretty hard for them to come back.
All right, Jacob. Well, good run again. Before we get you out of here, you got anybody you want to give a thanks to?
I always want to thank the dear Lord. I want to thank my friends, my family. I want to thank the team at Cavu Performance. I want to thank my main team at Apex Velocity Motorsports and their sponsors, W 444 Simulations, Box Banter, and Racing Paradise. And I want to thank you guys and Bob for putting this show together.
All right, Jacob. Good talking to you once again. I'm sure we'll talk to you again before the season is out. Have yourself a good rest of the week, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, actually.
Yep, see you in 2 weeks.
All right, Liam. So we're gonna pull up the rest of the results here real quick. Let's see here if I can find it. Get this off the screen here. There we go.
Yeah, Bentley Glazer gets her done over Jacob Jensen, Chad Stearns, rounding out the podium. Jeff Hollingsworth. Oh, by the way, Chad never joins us up here. We love you, Chad. Hope you enjoy these streams.
I think he's afraid of
Please
you.
come
It has nothing to do with me. It's all about you.
No, it's probably Alan. No, we appreciate you joining us, Chad, and hopefully one day you'll join us up in the booth. But anyways, business is business. Jeff Hollingsworth and Bob Beltrami round out the top 5, followed by Michael Milfelt Jr., Brian Barnes, Paul Crumray, Charles Woods, and Jeff Wills. Then we've got Wayne Hutchison, David Weaver, Ryan Hollifield, James DeWer, and Daryl Scott rounding out the top 15. Charlie Widener, Julian Ritchie, John Kenyon, Scott Kukas, and Chris Walker are your next 5. And then taking the field home, James Campbell, Keith Kelman, Shane Jensen, Dustin Burns, Barry Phil, and Troy Campbell. William Fletcher showed up for the practice session, but did not take a grid spot, so he gets a shout out, but no points.
We're going to use we didn't get a chance to use our studio. I thought maybe we'd have a couple caution flags. We could use our studio some more. So here's our studio view one more time. You get to see Liam's pretty face and mine as well, I guess. But
yeah, I talked to you in the pre-race before. I didn't think we were going to see a caution-free race. I explicitly said this is not going to go caution-free, and here we are, 80 laps at a 2-mile oval, 160 caution-free miles here tonight.
Excellent. Did you do that math in your head by yourself? I didn't see
All
you.
by
I didn't see you
myself.
push any buttons. Excellent. Well, once again, my name's Chris Murphy, Liam Ervig. You get to see us here tonight. So we're trying to add everything we can to our broadcast as much as possible. Bentley Glazer just put on a show tonight. Western States Racing League Season 53, Week 18. We come back again in 2 weeks for Charlotte. 2 more races left to go in the season. Charlotte, and then we round out on December 9th at Atlanta. But I'm Chris Murphy. He's Liam Ervig. We're Sim Racing Media. And I'm going to let Liam close us out with our...
Yeah, as always, can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. And as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Take it easy, folks.